leading to serious safety issues in Milwaukee, according to one North Side alderman.
It's one of the biggest complaints that I get. It's not just presence, it's response time as well.
Milwaukee Alderman Lamont Westmoreland says the city will hire almost 100 police officers this year and lose more than that to resignations, retirements, and firings. The danger of Milwaukee has young officers looking to leave.
Do we want to work in Milwaukee and maybe go on a high-speed chase, maybe get shot at during that high-speed chase, or do we want to work out in the suburbs?
And less officers means longer response times. John Merkier, WTMJ News.
Demolition of the empty Boston store at Brookfield Square is expected to begin very soon. The developer is still considering options for that site. The Milwaukee Business Journal says it could become offices with a hotel, restaurants, apartments also are possibilities. A day after ballot boxes in Washington and in Oregon were set on fire, a new nationwide poll finds that Americans are worried about the integrity of the vote on Election Day. ABC's Jim Ryan.
86% of registered voters of both parties in the AP North Center poll believe the losing candidate in next week's presidential election is obligated to accept the result. But only 1 in 3 voters, Republicans and Democrats, think that Donald Trump will concede if he loses. 77% believe that Kamala Harris will concede if she loses.
The election 1 week from today, more than 46 million Americans have already voted. Ordering a pizza saved a woman in danger.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
I would like to order a pizza.
That was the 911 call in Volusia County in Florida.
Are you aware you're calling 911?
Yes, I'm sure I'm calling to that number.
Dispatchers quickly realized the woman was in trouble.
I'm stuck in here and won't take me back home.
She was with a man who would not let her leave.
Do you have any weapons?
No.
Sheriff Mike Chitwood said they kept her on the line until they were able to track her phone.
Deputies got out on foot and began to search.
She was in a field. The man was on top of her.
Get off her now.
Help me. The 27-year-old man who was in the country illegally was arrested.
We're here. Just catch your breath.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Time now for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed bag at the moment. The Dow is up 9 to 58.32. I'm sorry. The Dow is up 6 to 42.398. The Nasdaq is up 72 to 18,639, and the S&P also up at the moment. Now it's up 9 to 58.33. Elections have consequences. Is your investment and retirement plan ready for what's next? Click the Get Started button at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
Here's a penny for your thoughts. There's about 11,000 tire-related crashes every year.
Mostly due to driving around on underinflated, beat-up, worn-out tires with low tread.
A couple of clicks at richlands.com will get you scheduled for a free tire tread test.
But if you're pressed for time, there's an old trick we use in the tire industry that'll tell you if you need tires.
And that's free, too.
My dad showed me, who learned it from his dad, who learned it from someone else way back in 1964.
Yes, the old penny test.
Yep, just place a penny head first.
As in upside down.
Into the groove of your tire. Now, if you can see the top of Lincoln's head, you're due for tires.
And hey, if the free penny test frazzles you, book an appointment at richlands.com.
If your tires are good,
no harm, no foul, because it won't cost you a penny. Be safe, buckle up, and hang. Always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're
due for service.
Such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Hi folks, this is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. With shorter days in the forecast, brighten up now with top quality lighting and ceiling fans at unbeatable prices. At our award-winning showroom, you'll see our new display of Visual Comfort brand lighting along with their newest LED lights and ceiling fans. We carry every major brand, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. If it's lampshades or repairs you need, we do all that too. There's something for everyone at BBC, including fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. BBC is open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and on Saturdays from 10 to 4. We're located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue, across from Sobelman's and Bachman Furniture, all near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. The Bucks start the season 1-3 after falling to the Celtics 119-108. Up next, the Grizzlies on Halloween night. Monday Night Football, Steelers are your winners over the Giants, and the Dodgers are 1 win away from a championship after beating the Yankees Monday night. Game 4 is tonight in the Bronx. WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time, safer traffic, 94 eastbound, Highway 16, all the way into downtown. That's a steady ride, 17 minutes. You should get in just fine there. 4145 south, Highway Q to the Zoo, no problems, 15 minutes. 43 southbound, Browndeer Road into downtown is looking good. And 94 northbound from Layton into the downtown Marquette area, you should be just fine, 7 minutes. The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy, windy, and warm today. The high is 80. Could see some 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Tonight, cloudy and windy still, a low of 66. Wednesday, cloudy, windy, warm, a high of 78 tomorrow. There is a chance for some storms tomorrow night. Thursday, rain in the morning, otherwise breezy for your Halloween, a high of 65. Friday, sunny, 52. Saturday, partly cloudy and a high of 59. Right now, in Milwaukee, 74. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:07.
We like to do things by the numbers. We're all about commerce and community. Welcome to the Upswing, presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs. Now for the host that's always on the upswing, Jeff Sherman.
Now, to business, gentlemen.
Good morning, Wisconsin. Good morning, Milwaukee. Happy Tuesday. 1 week to go, 1 week out from Election Day. Obviously, most of us are already feeling a little too many political ads coming at us. My social feeds are feeling it, too. Just full of it from all sides, all candidates. Oddly, I've already voted. So data and targeting may not always be the best when it comes to digital advertising, but... You know, I also got 6 robocalls last night. I don't know what number on your phone that is up to, but I'm on the do not call list, but the robocalls keep coming fast and furious to my phone. A couple numbers. The Harris and Trump campaigns combined to spend $265 million in the last reporting period, which was October 1st through October 16th. And the main pro-Harris super PAC, plus the 4 main pro-Trump super PACs, spent roughly an additional $260 million. Today, we're going to talk political advertising a bit with a media professor from the University of Minnesota, Christopher Terry. Chris knows the ins and outs of political advertising really well, and his research has been cited by the FCC and in filings with the U.S. Supreme Court. We'll talk to Chris after the first break. On a more festive note, maybe a little later in the show, we're going to talk to John Wise. John is the vice president of food and beverage at Marcus Hotels and Resorts. We'll check in on holiday corporate events, and we'll preview a couple upcoming events at Marcus. But first, as we do each and every morning on the Upswing, let's go to Up.
Now it's time for the 2 Up on the Upswing.
$100 million of improvements coming to New Berlin. ABB, a manufacturer in the electrification and automation space, is opening a new $100 million campus at 182nd and Lincoln Avenue in New Berlin today. The move is going to increase U.S. production capacity of industrial electric drives and services, and the new campus will welcome more than 700 ABB employees and is expected to add an additional 100 new jobs over the next 3 years. Local officials and community leaders, education leaders are gathering actually right now for a ceremony and ribbon cutting that began at 10 a.m. The increased footprint and new facility will better serve ABB's projected growth. Highly automated production facility will be complemented by a digital customer experience center and a state-of-the-art innovation lab to better serve customers in the United States. They're going to relocate a warehouse distribution center to the campus, too. ABB will reduce its transportation costs and associated emissions with this new project. Second up, Coffee wars. I often say that I'm an equal opportunity drinker of coffee and go to several different local and national places, but I realize that everyone competes for our coffee business, right? So I was really interested to get the weekly email from Stone Creek Coffee this week. It discussed just this topic, coffee competition. Let me read a bit from it. It's really, really interesting. A couple of weeks ago, Stone Creek says, we wrote in this newsletter about how Stone Creek compares to Starbucks. In our social comings and goings, we also tend to get asked about our relationship with Colectivo. Are we friendly with them? Are we enemies? Fair questions from anyone who loves coffee and lives in and around the Milwaukee area. The honest answer to those questions is probably less juicy than you expect. It certainly wouldn't make for great reality TV content. Our relationship is amicable, yet distant. Make no mistake, we see Colectivo as our primary local competition, but we don't harbor any kind of ill will towards the organization. This is certainly not a war. The personal relationships are always kind and caring, but we don't have an MKE coffee coalition of sorts. We compete in the grocery aisle. We compete in the corporate business. We sometimes compete for your in-person patronage, having cafes in close proximity to each other. But we don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about what Colectivo is doing. We're sure the reverse is also true. While we see them technically as a competitor, we don't believe their success would in any way hinder our success. They go on to say, we're proud of our B Corp certification. We're proud of our coffee. We're proud of how we operate as an organization. But if we lived as citizens in Milwaukee without Stone Creek, we'd be very glad to have you down to have a cup of coffee at Colectivo. So I love the choices. I love the intentionality of this type of corporate messaging, the branding, the positioning. So kudos to Stone Creek. Let's continue to rise all coffee tides in our market. Everyone's competing for our dollar. Everyone is going to get better with more and more competition. All right, this is the Upswing. We are presented by Horicon Bank. When we come back, let's talk political advertising.
Wisconsin volleyball has a new home.
It's match point in Madison.
Catch all the excitement of the 2024 season.
Booth and Spreck putting up that Wisconsin wall.
And don't miss out on moments like this.
Booth dunks it down with two hands, and that's a point for Wisconsin. Set Spreck, kill Franklin.
Badgers volleyball on WTMJ is presented by Steinhoffels. Don't miss any of the action right here on Wisconsin's radio station, 620 WTMJ.
Founded by inventors, fueled by community, and focused on business. This is WTMJ's Jeff Sherman speaking on behalf of my good friends at Horicon Bank. Horicon Bank has been doing banking differently since 1896. Your financing requests, they can be improved in days. You don't have to wait weeks because your banker understands your business. Service and products go hand in hand, providing top-notch products to meet your cash flow needs. Horicon Bank simply gets the job done. Together, doing good, that's their vision, and they're committed to doing what it takes to help your business. Horicon Bank, truly the natural choice. Member FDIC.
When your car or truck needs service, you should take it to a specialist. I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. At a member, new car dealers have factory warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians. Plus, their prices are as low or lower than independent shops, even on routine things like oil changes and tire service. Knowing all that, why would you ever consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
Hey, Wisconsin, it's Dave from Feldco. Did drafty windows make last winter frigid? Listen, Feldco's here to make things easier for you. It's the perfect time of year to replace those old windows. Right now, get 50% off windows plus no money down and no interest for 1 year. Visit us at 4feldco.com or give us a call at 866-4FELDCO.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866-4FELDCO.
Welcome back to the Upswing. I'm Jeff Sherman. Political advertising doesn't ever seem to stop. It will be everywhere over the next week, that's for sure, especially here in the state of Wisconsin. And many of the ads will be attack ads. Ads that are for something don't really seem to work, while ads that are against something are still the way of the day for sure. I wanted to talk about the state of political advertising and found Christopher Terry, who lives in Milwaukee and Minneapolis and is the associate professor and fellow of journalism, law, and policy at the Hubbard School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Minnesota. Professor Terry took the time out of his day yesterday to give us his insights. He's an authority on internet policy and political advertising, and his research has been cited by the FCC and in filings with the U.S. Supreme Court. Professor, I appreciate your time this morning. So, as you look at the political landscape, we are 1 week out, and the messaging against has just been so prolific on both sides and clearly preferred over messaging in favor of. Is this just what we're used to now in political advertising and it's just never going to change?
Well, you have to remember there's two kinds of political advertising. There's the kind that comes from the campaigns themselves. That tends to be fairly more positive than the other kind, which is the advertising by outside groups. And part of the intent of the volume of advertising is not to convince people to vote one way or the other, but to not go to the polls in general. And that's been happening for a long time now. And here in Wisconsin, which is a perpetual battleground state, with off-year elections to boot, we get a full dose of it every time.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, obviously we don't see a ton of attacks. You see some taste testing maybe here or there in consumer advertising, but is there a reason why we're not seeing any type of attack ads in traditional advertising?
Well, political speech and commercial speech are fundamentally different. Yeah. You can say things in political speech, protected First Amendment speech, that you couldn't get away with saying about somebody's competing product in a commercial speech or an advertising situation. Product disparagement is a big deal and is the kind of thing that's taken very seriously. But remember that commercial speech, advertising, traditional commercial advertising, isn't protected by the First Amendment in the same way that traditional political speech or, in the current discussion, political advertising is.
Yeah. It's funny. I saw, maybe you've seen it, the other day, a Burger King ad that said, "Work for a king, not for a clown. We're hiring." I thought that was pretty creative. A little bit of a competitive slap, but at the same time, got the message across.
Well, Burger King has historically had some pretty good ad people who've really been plugged into sort of the zeitgeist of what's going on. And they are pretty good at making jokes. As you are probably aware, it's hard to make a good joke often. Mm-hmm. Burger King does and historically has been better at that than other major companies.
Yeah, for sure. All right. In terms of the volume of political ads, it's going to be fast and furious in this final week for sure. What impact does that have on local businesses that are running ads adjacently on the same platform? Do you get a sense of that impact at all?
Sure. It's something I've studied for many years. The most important part is to understand that the two ads create a different situation. Ads that come from federal candidates, legally qualified federal candidates, they have to run. Stations like TMJ or any of the television stations in town, they have to run those ads. They don't have a choice. Mm-hmm. And they can't censor those ads in any way. The other kind of ads, though, the non-candidate political ads, usually called issue ads, those are not protected by the same rules, the rules that are 90 years old that govern candidate ads. And as such, stations are able to sell those ads for top dollar. The typical going rate for a candidate ad versus an issue ad is about a 10 times factor. Sometimes it's even 20 times, depending on where you are. That means that the stations themselves are making a lot of money on this, but the volume does push some of the regular commercial advertisers off the air. In Minnesota in 2022, the local news stations were running so many political ads the last week of the election that they were actually reducing the amount of news time that they were putting in a half-hour television newscast to accommodate additional ads. And it is hard for commercial advertisers to get in, one, because candidate ads have to run and they can bump commercial advertising off the air. And two, stations want all the issue money that they can because there's sort of a fixed date on when that issue money goes away.
Yeah. And do you get a sense that, hey, you're in Minneapolis and Milwaukee, kind of split your time? Do you get a sense that the local businesses are just saying, all right, I'm going to take some time out of local media right now and let the campaign season do its thing, and then I'll get back to the promotion?
Well, I think that's whether they've actively or inactively come to that conclusion. I think it's just a practical reality at this point that unless you're one of the top dollar advertisers on a station, whether that be TV or radio or to a lesser degree through a cable head end, that you just have to sit it out for the 45 and 60-day windows before the primaries and the generals at this point. It's just there's that much advertising. Yeah. The problem in Wisconsin, of course, is that we have that same level of advertising in off-year elections. The state Supreme Court race last year, of course, was a wall-to-wall advertising bonanza, too.
Yeah.
So it used to be that you only had this problem every 45 to 60 days every 2 years. But the reality in Wisconsin, being the state that it is that it's all the time, right? We'll have spring elections for a series of races. So even after we survive the presidential race, we'll have another batch of pretty hardcore advertising again very, very soon.
Yeah, seemingly a never-ending cycle for sure. So as campaigns look at the effectiveness in this final week, how are campaigns tracking and monitoring the effectiveness? Is it just all about volume at this point, playing the percentages? What's like campaigns, do they look at the impressions and the clicks and the reach at this point, or is it just about blanket the market and go after it?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, all advertising is targeted in some way or another, but you're at the end of a campaign where you've got money to spend, so you're better off throwing it in and seeing what happens than holding on to the money afterwards. You know, again, Wisconsin's always going to be a close state. I mean, at least until the demographics of the state change in a fundamental way. And I look this morning, we're looking at, just on the Milwaukee television stations, you're looking at close to $350,000 in more ads that'll run in the next week. And that's just the reality of the situation at this point.
Yeah. Is there are you seeing a winning ad platform in this campaign season that's different than years before?
No, the numbers have shifted a little bit. Advertising on the internet's obviously picking up just by a volume, but internet advertising is very inexpensive in relative terms to television and radio. TV for a long time has always been sort of the big beneficiary of this. In fact, 4 or 5 years ago, prior to COVID, there was an effort to buy up a bunch of television stations by many of the sort of media conglomerates to get in on the the expected 2020 political wave money. Mm-hmm. And this year, the breakdown's about 72% of all of the ad spend went to broadcast TV, just because it's a very expensive place to advertise. Yeah. Not that there are any more ads on TV, it's just that the price of those ads is substantially higher than in other venues.
And then finally, Professor, as you go back and forth between Minneapolis and Milwaukee, are you seeing a difference in the ads in your social feeds in terms of volume?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's amazing when I'm in Milwaukee with my family, the volume of ads one sees in comparison to Minnesota. Remember, Minnesota, not a very competitive state politically. Mm-hmm. Even down ballot, there's only one House race in the state that's even considered marginally competitive. Both states have U.S. Senate races, but the Senate race in Minnesota is not considered even remotely competitive. And even with that, you still see a lot of ads, but it's nothing compared to what you see in Wisconsin. And that's been true for 15 or 20 years at this point.
All right. I appreciate your time this morning. I only got 6 robocalls last night, so I'm hoping tonight maybe that will only be 5.
Well, good luck with that. I suspect the next week will be pretty interesting in terms of the quantity of ads. And then it's kind of like Christmas music, right? It'll just end sometime next week.
Very good. All right. Enjoy the rest of your week. Appreciate your time.
No problem. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Listen to Spanning the State.
The NFL was trying to get women before the Taylor Swift thing. Just if you looked at the merch evolution over the last decade, it went from strictly unisex or guy jerseys, and then they brought out all this female merchandise and stuff like that.
I'm looking for outfits, and none of them are that cute.
Well, you got to remember, it's a league that, lets domestic abusers play and things like that. So women's rights aren't at the forefront of the NFL bottom line.
Only on WTMJ.
It's quiz time. Here's your first question. Which senator joined the extreme left in Washington, D.C. to send COVID relief checks to prisoners, including the Boston Marathon bomber? Answer, Tammy Baldwin. Who backed puberty blockers and sex change surgeries for minor children in Wisconsin? Once again, Tammy Baldwin. Next question. Which senator even supported castration and mastectomies for minors? Time's up. It does sound crazy, but that was Tammy Baldwin again. Over and over, Baldwin has sided with the extreme left in D.C. Baldwin is for they, them, not you. And now for our final answer. It's time to replace Tammy Baldwin. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, they clicked on the blue button. We sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. We also let them know about AccuNet's property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval did include that most powerful phrase, no appraisal required, and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with the local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. We'll also likely save you $1,000 to $3,000 in closing costs for exactly the same rate as your bank. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Welcome back to the Upswing. I'm Jeff Sherman. Halloween is Thursday. If your shower tub maybe looking a little scary, needs a little update, you are in luck. WTMJ and Sidex have paired together to give away a tub or shower conversion. This is your chance to get a full makeover valued at up to $10,000. All you need to do, you take a picture of your shower tub, you text the word creepy and the photo to the WTMJ talk and text line at 855-616-1620. You submit that picture, and you could win a full conversion from our good friends at Sidex. For contest rules, just visit our website at WTMJ.com. All right. I have been wondering, with the holidays quickly approaching, although it seems like Halloween was like weeks ago, although it's only a couple days from now. But corporate parties, what is the state of big corporate parties? Are the hotels and the bars and the restaurants booked? Are we seeing a return to that big corporate holiday party? What is the state of the corporate party in the greater Milwaukee area? John Wise from Marcus Hotels and Resorts will join us after the break to give us an update as to what he's seeing in the corporate party market, as well as the kind of the changing vibes of the hotel, bar, and restaurant scene. I always love the innovation that comes at the hotel bar scene. And I was at St. Kate after the Bucks game on Friday night. Just a wonderful mix of locals, a DJ event. The Milwaukee Press Club had an event going on, and I was just kind of struck at wow, this is the place where locals are hanging out. So we're going to talk to John Wise about changes at the bars and clubs at Marcus Hotels when we come back. But for now, ABC News, local headlines are coming up next. And then John Wise from Marcus Hotels and Resorts.
ABC
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Donald Trump is at Mar-a-Lago right now talking to a room full of supporters. Reporters are also there. His campaign trying to distance itself from racist and sexist comments made during his Madison Square Garden rally on Sunday. Donald Trump tells ABC's Rachel Scott he did not hear the opening speakers. Vice President Kamala Harris will deliver an address tonight on the Ellipse in Washington. ABC's Alex Prochet is there.
The National Park Service tells us they're expecting more people than originally reported. Originally, some 20,000 people. Now we're being told that 40,000 people will be at this rally tonight.
Job openings tumbled last month to their lowest level since January of 2021. Posted vacancies still above what they were before the pandemic. Dozens of people were killed when Israeli airstrikes hit a 5-story building in northern Gaza overnight. The death toll from more than a year of fighting, now more than 43,000, according to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry. This is ABC News.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 1031. Milwaukee Public Schools is going to lay out further details tonight on plans to potentially close or merge up to 13 schools across the city. The board of directors is going to meet tonight. The district maintains no decisions are final and no closures are expected for the next 2 years. Southeast Wisconsin has seen very little precip this month. That's leading to moderate to severe drought conditions. Fire officials again recommending everyone to avoid outdoor burning until conditions improve. Burn permits for debris burning are currently suspended in several counties across the state. Demolition of the empty Boston store at Brookfield Square is expected to begin by the end of the month. The developer is still considering options for the site. The Milwaukee Business Journal says it could be offices with a hotel, restaurants, apartments are also possibilities. Time now for News About Your Money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, mixed bag. The Dow is down 50 to 42,337. The NASDAQ up 80 to 18,647. And the S&P is up 6 to 5830. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. WTMJ, Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic. The roadway's looking good at the moment. 94 eastbound all the way into downtown from Highway 16 all the way in. That's a smooth ride, 17 minutes. 4145 south, Highway Q to the Zoo is also delay-free. 43 southbound, no problems there either. From Brown Deer Road into downtown, that's a 12-minute trip. The WTMJ 5-day forecast, partly cloudy, windy, and warm today. The high is 80. The record is 81, by the way. We are going to see 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts at times. Tonight, still windy, cloudy, a low of 66. Wednesday, still warm, a high of 78 tomorrow. We will see some evening storms tomorrow night, however. Thursday, rain in the morning, otherwise breezy, a high of 65 for your Halloween. Friday, sunny, 52. Saturday, partly cloudy, and a high of 59. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1033.
How would you like to own a jewelry store?
Kessler's Diamonds is an employee-owned company.
And Kessler's is growing. Are you the kind of person we're looking for?
Does it make you happy to make other people happy?
Are you a problem solver?
Would you like to wake up every morning knowing that you're going to help a lot of people find joy today?
Kessler's Diamonds is people serving people.
Keep in mind that Kessler's is owned by its employees. So let me ask you this. Are you a good enough leader that you can be an owner who leads other owners?
Don't worry, you don't have to know about diamonds. We can teach you about diamonds. But the people we're looking for aren't looking for a job.
Did someone pop into your head just now?
Do you think you might know who we're looking for?
Give that person a call.
Send them an email.
Tell them to walk into Kessler's Diamonds and say to the person who greets them,
I think I want to work here.
Welcome to Kessler's.
A fantastic place to buy jewelry and a wonderful place to work.
For the store nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richland's Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
All right. But it's important to know accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Mitchke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richland's Tire and Service Centers.
Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Rich Lawns.
Welcome back to the Upswing. I'm Jeff Sherman, the Tuesday Show. Always interested in the state of our hospitality industry here in Greater Milwaukee. John Wise is the Vice President of Food and Beverage at Marcus Hotels and Resorts. John joins us in studio this morning. John, I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So I said before the break, on Friday, we were at the Bucks game downtown. After the game, kind of took a walk through downtown, stopped in at St. Kate. DJ playing, really lively scene, press club event upstairs. It seemed like there were a lot of locals there, and I don't know if that was necessarily the case a couple years ago, but it seems like kind of the locals are flocking back to the hotel bar scene.
Well, I certainly agree with you. I can tell you, obviously, the two COVID years, 20 and 21, not so much. Mm-hmm. But the last 3 years, 23, actually 22, 23, and 24 have been like record-breaking years for Marcus Hotels and for the industry in general.
Yeah.
In any good city, New York, Chicago, Milwaukee, I've noticed that the better hotels become part of the fabric of the local community. People celebrate there. They have their weddings there. They have their corporate parties there. And now having these really active bars in the lobby, it's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. And you get that really good mix, I think, when you walk into a great hotel bar, that you see locals, but then you see people from out of town, and you're able to just have those creative conversations that help build community. And I don't know, for me, like that's what I love about the hotel bar space.
No, you're right. And they're typically a lot bigger, and there's a lot more environment and atmosphere. It's not a club. It's not completely a bar. It's something different.
Yeah.
I love the vibe at St. Kate. You know, everybody who checks in gets a glass of champagne. And I remember seeing once there was this elderly lady walking away from the desk carrying her champagne glass in one hand, headed for the elevator, dragging her suitcase along, spilling on the concrete. And I go, it's awesome.
That's
it's just
right.
Awesome.
Embrace
it's St. Kate.
Yes, indeed. So what are some of the bigger challenges or some of the new challenges now in the hospitality industry? Obviously, a lot more competition. And how are you moving to adapt to them?
Well, first of all, there's a ton of new hotels everywhere, but a lot of these hotels are what we call limited service. They might have breakfast, and that's about it. Food and beverage is not easy, but it's something that Marcus has always been involved in. The family, obviously their history with Big Boy and restaurants and theaters, they see things a little bit differently, and that's why we're called to not only run our own hotels, but to manage other people's hotels as well. So the challenge continues for us in food and beverage is finding great people because they have a lot of choices now.
And what are the price pressures? I mean, obviously, costs continue to go up on all levels, and you got to incorporate the infrastructure and the people into that.
Right, and you can only, at some point, you just can't raise prices anymore, right? You have to eat that at a point. And inflation was really bad for a while, and food was one of the last kind of things to go down, but it has moderated. Mm-hmm. But we're definitely not looking at increasing any prices.
Yeah. And as you look at trends, if you will, I mean, it's still kind of on point that luxury, wellness, and sustainability are those kind of the three paths in the hospitality industry that are still growing?
Yeah, well, I think it's, as I said earlier, it's community as well. Luxury for sure in our hotels. The spas at Pfister and Grand Geneva are constantly booked. Mm-hmm. The afternoon tea at the Pfister, a very kind of a hoity-toity fun thing. We've tripled the amount of business we've done in the last 2 years there, so that's a really good thing too. Mm-hmm. And sustainability, I don't know that people ask for it, but they appreciate it when they see it.
Yeah.
And when they see we're careful on how we break down our waste and how we serve our food and beverage, that's important.
How about talent acquisition and retention? It's a pretty competitive labor market, especially in that restaurant space. I think there's always another option where you can make a little bit more, and people are always evaluating their options. How is that on your end?
Well, we're fortunate. We have a lot more resources than the typical place. So we have better benefit packages, insurance, movie tickets, things like that. The culture is really good. the stability of working for a company that's not going to go away. And, the family history is a big thing, too. And, Greg plays piano in St. Kate once a week and Blue once a week, too.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, more with John Weiss from Marcus Hotels and Resorts, the holiday event business. I want to get his take on our big corporate parties back. This is The Upswing, and you're listening to WTMJ.
I'm Dave Sager. I'm the chairman of Bethlehem Evangelical Lutheran Church and School. In 1998, we made a decision to buy some property in Germantown. It was always the mindset, someday we would build a church on that property. Horicon Bank bent over backwards for us repeatedly. I can't tell you how many times I reached out to Michelle on a Saturday, on a Sunday. Can you help me out? And it would not be possible without Horicon Bank and Catalyst Construction. Just amazing individuals, and it's all family.
At Fleet Farm, we're serious about offering whatever you need at the best prices guaranteed. Big things, little things, everything. Like Diamond Crystal Solar Salt for only $4.79 a bag. Or 25 pounds of black oil sunflower seed for $9.99. And 40 pounds of Litter Delight cat litter is on sale now for just $8.99. And as always, if you happen to find it for less, we'll match it. So stock up on everything you need for everyday life at Fleet Farm. All at the best prices guaranteed.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you feel self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes senior living at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from Three Pillars resident Lola.
I had seen a lot of retirement places. In the minute I drove into the driveway coming into Three Pillars, I was sold. The grounds are just beautiful. The management are just incredibly kind people. That mood permeates the atmosphere to me, whether it's the staff, the people that's serving in the restaurant, and the residents themselves. It's just a lot of caring, kind people.
Schedule a tour today at threepillars.org.
Welcome back to the Upswing. I'm Jeff Sherman, joined by John Weiss, Vice President of Food and Beverage at Marcus Hotels and Resorts. John, what are you seeing in terms of the return of the big corporate party? Are you seeing corporations make investments for those holiday parties that, just hundreds, maybe 1,000 people in a hotel ballroom? Are you seeing a return of those events?
There's definitely some of those parties.
Yeah.
I think even before COVID, they were kind of on the wane. What's a little bit more typical might be like small departments going out for lunch or in smaller things. So we have really great medium-sized spaces and some smaller spaces in addition to the big ballrooms. And again, everything at the hotels is decorated so beautifully for the holidays.
Yeah. All right. Very good. So you have a couple big events coming up. One of my local favorite places is Boswell Books on Downer Avenue. Always really cool activations with authors and fun events there. And they take a lot of their events with authors kind of outside the walls of the bookstore and do them at locations like yours.
Yeah, I've been doing events with Daniel Golden at Boswell for years, and he does bring in the best people, and he's one of the last independent bookstores that really should be supported.
Yeah.
So he reached out to us, and he has, Milwaukee is the most German of all the cities in the U.S. The Pfister was owned and built by German immigrants, and our corporate chef, Mark Weber, is German. So when he said, hey, we got Louisa Weiss, German food expert with a cookbook on classic German food, do an event tomorrow, Wednesday, at the Pfister Hotel, we were all in.
And Louisa's new book actually comes out today, so
it does. So we get her
there.
at the start of her tour.
Classic German Cooking is a collection of more than 100 of the best recipes from German and Australian home cooks. And like you said, the Marcus executive chef, Mark Weber, will pair with her and talk about all the beauty of German cooking. Where can people get information about tickets for this event?
It's on the Pfister website. If you go to events and you can click on it, it's selling pretty quickly, actually. And I'm not lying, it is really.
All right, that's good.
And don't forget the great white German wines are fantastic, too, with that.
Always pair it with the right wine for sure. So if you look up, I don't know if you can see it from the street view, but on top of the Hilton in downtown Milwaukee, on top of the parking garage is what?
Hives. Robert McEnany has got his own little beekeeping operation, and he tends hives all over the city.
Okay.
And he shares the honey with us. So this is the second year in a row we are doing our barrel and bees dinner. We're doing bourbon-infused foods, honey-infused foods. And we'll start the party inside the Monarch lobby, where he'll bring down some of the bees and some of their hives that people can see, have some appetizers, and then go into the chop house and have a great 4-course dinner.
All right. Yes, the beautiful Milwaukee Chop House inside the Hilton City Center downtown, Barrels and Bees. That event is Friday, November 8th.
That's correct.
Yeah. And so all the honey that is made atop the parking garage, is that sourced and then used at all the restaurants at Marcus?
Well, no, just strictly at the Hilton.
Just at the Hilton?
At the Chop House. He takes some, we take some, and it's a very good partnership.
All right, very good. John Weiss is the Vice President of Food and Beverage at Marcus Hotels and Resorts. Appreciate your time this morning, and all the best as we enter in the beautiful holiday season.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, a quick update on what's on your ballot next Tuesday, and then we're going to do Try, Take, Buy. This is the Upswing. We're presented by Horicon Bank.
Decision Wisconsin on Wisconsin's Morning News.
Some folks feel anxiety about voting. One poll worker suggesting she is more confident than ever in the elections process.
Every storyline as the race to the White House heats up.
With less than 3 weeks until the 2024 election, the vice president is in Milwaukee this morning, waking up for a campaign blitz across Wisconsin.
We are your central hub for the 2024 presidential election. WTMJ.
Here's what Tammy Baldwin thinks about President Trump and you.
Donald Trump might be one of the most offensive and hateful and unacceptable presidential candidates we've ever had. So what does that say about the people who support him?
Tammy Baldwin is a liberal snob. Vote her out.
I'm Eric Hovde, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
Visit WisconsinVictoryJFC.com to give today. Paid for by Wisconsin Victory Committee.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Annex Wealth Management. Investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning from a fee-only fiduciary. Forget commission sales pitches and financial products you don't need. Know the difference. Annex provides elite, comprehensive financial planning customized to who you are and what you need. AnnexWealth.com.
Don't think twice.
Call Geis. Since 1955, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Hey, don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget. They'll even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to geisdoors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield featuring hundreds of doors and openers and their custom design rooms. Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
Did your home suffer damage from a storm or severe weather? Don't stress any longer. Loyal Family Renovations treats all of its customers like they've joined their personal family, and every project as if the work was being done at their own house. Loyal Family Renovations has a leg up on the competition due to the personal relationships they've built with insurance adjusters over the years. Loyal Family is family-owned, and the loyalty belongs to their customers. Contact them today to get your free home inspection. LoyalFamilyRenovations.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Welcome back to the Upswing. I'm Jeff Sherman, preparing you for Election Day next Tuesday. WTMJ's Adam Roberts has first of 4 segments called What's on My Ballot. We'll prepare you for all those different initiatives that you'll see on your ballot next Tuesday.
That free voice is the vote.
We're nearly to Election Day 2024, but in reality, the election has already been underway for some time, as early in-person absentee voting kicked off for many Wisconsin communities on October 22nd. Early turnout has been quite robust, with over 412,000 of those in-person absentee votes already cast. For those who still haven't voted, over the next few days, we'll walk you through the ins and outs of what you can expect on your ballot when you head to the polls.
Your vote is one of the most valuable tools.
Let's start, ironically, towards the bottom of the ballot, where you'll notice any referenda up for a vote in your municipality. First off, all ballots across Wisconsin will include a question concerning who can legally vote in state elections.
Shall Section 1 of the Article 3 of the Constitution, which deals with suffrage, be amended to provide that only a United States citizen age 18 or older who resides in an election district may vote in an election for national, state, or local office or at a statewide local referendum.
On the surface, the change is simply rewriting the law to read only instead of every, since no cities, towns, or villages in Wisconsin currently allow non-citizens to vote in local elections. The non-citizen voting referendum is the 5th statewide ballot question in Wisconsin this year alone. Also on the ballot this fall are several high-profile school referenda, continuing a trend of districts going to the voters for approval on spending projects. This November, around 140 school districts in Wisconsin will ask voters to consider ballot items. Data from the February and April referendums show around 60% of those ballot measures passed. In Madison, voters are being asked for more than $600 million to cover operating costs and building replacement and renovations in the district.
They asked for money for the schools, I always gave it to them, but I always really wondered what the hell they were doing with it.
Madison School Board Treasurer Allie Muldrow tells WISC-TV while she's not surprised to hear those remarks, given voter fatigue over the increasing number of referenda.
As a homeowner in Madison, I don't think anybody wants their life to get more expensive. At the end of the day, we are defined by the way we show up for one another's kids.
Meanwhile, in Wauwatosa, another duo of funding requests asks voters to approve nearly $125 million for the same purpose.
This referendum is a really great thing for our community, and I'm really excited about what it means for the future of our schools.
Our children deserve the best and brightest leaders around. However, irresponsible spending is not a way to get there.
As always, make sure to do your research on any referenda coming up for a vote in your municipality before you head to the polls. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
All right. No matter what, do not forget to exercise your civic duty and vote next Tuesday, or vote right now in early voting. Let's go. Try, take, buy. Try. I got something you need to try. If you need a new show for this winter, I truly recommend The Diplomat on Netflix. Now, the standard Netflix model, $6.99 with ads, $6.99 per month. But The Diplomat is a wonderful show. It stars Carrie Russell. She plays this war-hardened diplomat turned ambassador to the United Kingdom. She's married to her former ambassador. There's all this ripped from the headline stuff. There's partnership, there's argument, there's political schemes, there's relationships. It's kind of all tumbled into one. A really great show. So if you need a new show to try The Diplomat. My take, I have always wanted to see more and more innovation from the tours at Miller Valley. So kudos to Molson Coors for exploring expansion of its Miller Brewery tours after introducing 2 new additions this past year. The Business Journal had an update on this story yesterday. But in May, the Milwaukee Brewery added 2. They added an hour archives tour and then a 2-hour historical tour options to its offerings. I've really enjoyed seeing this, kind of adding an additional flavor, some more texture to the background of what the brewery is all about. The hope was to offer these tours more in 2025 if interest continues to show promise. Now, there's a little extra cost for these tours, but as I said, it's more than just the standard tour through the brewery. You get a really good deep dive into some of the brewery's archives that date all the way back to Miller Brewing's founding in 1855. Put it on your list for sure. My buy, and a little bit of a tease for tomorrow, women's basketball tickets. 2024-25 pricing is out for whether it's UWM, El Verno, Marquette. You can get season tickets to see the Marquette women in the lower chairback reserved for $100 for the entire season. That's $10 per game. General admission season tickets are only $50, $5 for a game. Women's basketball is where it's at. Truly entertaining, competitive. Tomorrow we'll hear from new Marquette women's coach Kara Katsurga. She'll join us on the Upswing with Mark Cass, and we'll do the business of sports tomorrow. Coming up next, Wisconsin's Midday News. But right now, business headlines.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
Lido Advisors acquires Mequon-based Pegasus Partners. The deal is expected to close in